Hello, this is Mefhod, Chairman ITIF and Head of Linguistics, Bhaita Bangladesh. Today, I'm going to deliver this lecture on another innermost topic of ELT syllabus designing. My today's topic is product-oriented syllabus in EFL and ESL. As a part of MA in ELT, TEFL and TESOL programs, in this module, I am gonna talk about introduction, characteristics, features, principles, inferential theories of language, inferential theories of language learning, as well as typical categories of product-oriented syllabus. Let's begin. Introduction to product-oriented syllabus. Syllabus is the first priority of a language learner to select a language course. No single syllabus is absolutely complete or perfect in teaching learning all the four skills of language, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. David Noonan, in his Communicative Language Design 1988, asserts that any curriculum which fails to give due consideration to both product and process will be defective. Despite that, different types of syllabi are used in teaching learning English as a foreign language EFL or as a second language ESL programs. Language syllabuses have been typically categorized into two major types by the linguists and practitioners on the basis of their aims and purposes. Type A, product-oriented or synthetic syllabus, and Type B, process-oriented or analytic syllabus. Structural or grammatical syllabuses, notional-functional syllabuses, as well as situational syllabuses are subsumed in Type A, that is product-oriented or synthetic syllabus. Major characteristic features of product-oriented or synthetic syllabus. Generally, Type A, product-oriented or synthetic syllabus focuses on things learned at the end of the learning process or outcomes rather than the process itself. It can be compared with a process-oriented syllabus which focuses on the processes of learning. Many people have questioned the validity of separating syllabi into process and product-oriented and argue that most syllabi are and must be a combination of process and outcomes. Grammatical, functional, and lexical syllabi are product-oriented or synthetic as they focus on grammatical, functional, and lexical outcomes. A product-oriented approach focuses on changing development abilities. At the same time, this approach maintains the highest possibility or quality of target products. The approach is design focused and it means spending maximum efforts on maintaining product quality. Learners working with a product-oriented syllabus can be supported with other approaches and techniques as well. Principles of product-oriented or synthetic syllabus. A product-oriented syllabus focuses on the graded items, typically grammar-based, that learners are expected to know before moving on to the following level. A typical product-oriented syllabus is the structural syllabus, also known as a grammatical syllabus, based on the grammatical structures graded according to the complexity, which form the basis of the grammar translation and audio-lingual method, as well as more modern such as ushers total physical response TPR, and gotten goes the silent way. In other words, a syllabus is the teaching content as is an account of it. For Wilkins 1976, a synthetic syllabus teaching strategy is one in which the different parts of language are taught separately and step by step, so that acquisition is a process of gradual accumulation or increase of the parts until the whole structure of language has been built up. To put it differently, according to the synthetic approach, the focus is on what is to be learned, and language blocks are taught to learners separately and progressively. It doesn't tell about the process, that is how to learn a language. For a better understanding of type A syllabuses and how they work, White 1988 provides a detailed description of their major features as presented below. A detailed description of major features of product-oriented syllabuses. According to White 1988, these syllabuses are interventionist, domineering, as well as authoritarian. That is, it is the teacher who pre-selects the linguistic elements to be taught, divides them into small chunks, and defines the objectives of the course before coming to the class without taking into account the learner's needs, abilities, and expectations. This is why type A product or product-oriented or synthetic syllabuses are external or peripheral to the learners due to the fact that it is viewed as a passive recipient who is just supposed to resynthesize the language blocks and shallow ingest all that is digested or designed by the teacher, who is considered as the only source of knowledge, represents the highest authority in the classroom, makes decisions, and sets the learning objectives as cited in Long and Crookes 1993. In this approach, a teacher is like a sage on stage rather than to be the guide on the learner's side. Theories of synthetic or product-oriented syllabus. Type A product-oriented syllabuses underlie theories of language and language learning. According to Stern 1983, a theory of language and language learning is implicit and embedded in the practice of language teaching, and it reveals itself in, amongst other things, the syllabus. A syllabus will therefore reflect a particular view of language and language learning. In the light of their theoretical underpinnings, the aim of the following two subsections is to explain why type A syllabuses have been classified as such. Number one, inferential theories of language on type A syllabuses, and number two, inferential theories of language learning on type A syllabuses. Now, I'll be discussing the inferential theories of language on type A syllabuses. The structural syllabus is influenced by the structural view of language. According to this view, structure is the heart of speech, and the aim of language learning is seen to be, I quote, the mystery of elements of this system, which are generally defined in terms of phonological units, grammatical units, and grammatical operations, as well as lexical items, as stated in Research and Rogers 1986. Moreover, the notional-functional syllabus is said to be based on the functional view of language, which came as a reaction to the traditional structural review of language learning. This view went beyond the sentential level and called for the importance of learning language in relation to the context in which it is used. Additionally, the functional view is closely related to Delheim's view of language, which describes what learners' communication needs. According to Research and Rogers 1986, Delheim sees that linguistic theory needs to be viewed as part of a more general theory including communication and culture. In this regard, they write, I quote, "The functional view of language emphasizes the semantic and communicative dimensions rather than merely the grammatical characteristics of language and leads to a specification and organization of language teaching content by categories of meaning and function rather than the elements of structure and grammar." Unquote. In addition, language syllabuses are not only influenced by theories of language but also theories of language learning because, as Research and Rogers note, structural, functional, or interactional models of language provide the theoretical framework that may motivate a particular teaching method, but in themselves they are incomplete and need to be completed by theories of language learning. Now, I will speak about influential theories of language learning on Type A syllabuses. Research and Rogers 1986 point out that there are two main language learning theories. Number one, process-oriented theories, and number two, condition-oriented theories. While the former, that is process-oriented theories, are concerned with learning processes such as habit formation, induction, inferencing, hypothesis testing, and generalization, the latter, that is the condition-oriented theories, focus on the nature of the human and physical context in which language learning takes place. For example, the structural syllabus is based on the process-oriented theories where language learning is viewed as a process of mechanical habit formation and stimulus or response whereby learners are required to repeat discrete items of language until they fully master them, as stated by Kamara-Bedai-Bellu 2006. Therefore, the learning of language was perceived as the progressive accumulation of structures of the language until the language was complete. Wilkins, 1994. Furthermore, since it falls under the umbrella of Type A syllabuses and though it's assumed to be based purely on the functional view of language, in reality, the notional-functional syllabus is also based on the process-oriented theories. More specifically, the notional-functional syllabus is based on the behaviorist view of language as it requires learners to repeat linguistic rules such as functions and notions. Research 2001. Now let's see how product-oriented syllabus is different from process-oriented syllabus. Process-oriented evaluations are based on observing the development of the learning processes as they occur in the student throughout the lesson. Nevertheless, product-oriented evaluation seeks to assess performance through a finalized product that should meet specific requirements. Product-oriented evaluation focuses on the final product of an assignment like an essay and offers a grade only for that. On the other hand, process-oriented evaluation focuses on the entire process of the assignment and calculates a grade based on performance of each activity in the series that creates the final product. Now, I am talking about typical categories of synthetic or product-oriented syllabus. Sub-syllabuses of type A being a generic term, type A product-oriented or synthetic syllabus includes various sub-syllabuses. The following three syllabuses are major subtypes of product-oriented or synthetic syllabuses, namely, number 1, structural or grammatical syllabuses, number 2, notional-functional syllabuses, and number 3, situational syllabuses. Conclusion. There are some benefits and drawbacks of each types of the syllabus in foreign language teaching and learning. Foreign language teachers are invited to adopt the eclectic approach by combining both syllabus types. This combination will therefore help in counteracting the weaknesses of both types and provide teachers with opportunities to address their learners' diverse needs and meet their expectations and goals. Viewers, in my subsequent next videos, I will talk about each of the three subtypes: structural grammatical syllabus, notional functional syllabus, and situational syllabus in details. Thank you.